you feel you the owner of the land with your ancestors' history that make us who we are.
Now I'm the coach. Now you're going to kick that ball long, get it out from the centre. All your rock and rollers, do it. Come on, play the game. Come on, let's do it.
It took me a while to really get to understand the way people live here, because if you go to Pepmanati, they just got Pepmanati people. If you go to another place, they aren't big community like Palumpa, they only have their people and only people that are married into. But here you've got the biggest community in the Northern Territory with 20 clan groups all in here, and to see them coming together now is really something.
We take our kids, children out sort of in our land, show them how to sort of hunt, look after sacred sites. So when they sort of grown up, they can look after the land later on in years to come.
I grew up here and go to school in here, and the most thing I go for fishing every day and swimming and play footy.
I've spent a lot of time with a lot of the fellas out here, and they're really good guys, and basically, you know, sometimes they struggle to convey what they mean through English, but it's just part of it.
When the missionaries brought them here, they gave them little allocations of land in the community and say, well, that's your clan group got to be there, that's your area, another one, another. Just like little suburbs, but divided up like little suburbs.
Father Doherty introduced sport when he first started the mission in June 1935. One of the first sports he did, we got photos of it from Dr. Stenner, was football.
Our grandfathers, fathers played, and as the years went by, we grew up watching them. And we said, look, if our fathers, granddad, uncles can play, we can play.
They had a traditional game. They used to throw a ball around, homemade ball or bush-made ball. But when they had this football, they didn't understand about kicking it, and they used to throw it backwards and forwards. Then these other blokes who had been in Darwin, who came back with Father Doherty, said, no, like, and they used to talk about this Wanderers and Buffaloes, and no one could understand what this Wanderers and Buffaloes is about. And these blokes they showed them how to kick the football. Within a couple of days, they had the idea of kicking the football and jumping for a mark. So in June 1935, they were playing football at Wentekanai, Old Mission.
My dad used to play footy, and there were 4 teams, I think, that were against each other. And before they used to run off, get spears, fight each other, all that, if that team would win,
Because everyone would cheer, and into one big circle, the game is on. And hear the cheering around it in the circle. The oval is around. So here. Sometimes we used to have a quarrel or whatever, because the one team is stronger than this one, It's always happening like that.
Fighting has again broken out in the remote Aboriginal community of Wadeye, located in the Northern Territory. Extra police have been flown in to try and control the gangs of violent youths across the community, who have taken to the streets with spears, knives and rocks. There seems to be no end in sight, as locals and officials struggle to deal with an ongoing dispute between families and clan groups.
The violence was a bad habit of our people, of our young peoples.
Young boys carrying a weapon, and there was especially young girls and young kids swearing together and throwing rocks together, and myself too.
Riots all the time. And there were reasons for that, like somebody would do something wrong in traditional way and all that.
It's fighting amongst sort of people, little things, came into big things.
Those gangs have spear and axe, stuff like that, knife and screwbar, rocks.
There's fighting in the street, police breaking it up. In the old days, they didn't have that. All they did was fought it in the bush, and that was it.
But since that violence been stopped, because the elders and other people came together, sat down and talked about it.
They wanted to get away from this fighting and this sense of hopelessness and be somebody, I think, you know, because every paper we used to pick up is Wadeye, the brawls, the riots and everything.
There's no life fighting. So we said, we have to turn around.
We got invited by the federal government about 4 years ago to go out to Wadeye and try and get the football going again and to help with some of the social issues out there. And we asked our regional development manager to live in the community.
So I was out here providing a service which the community loves in footy. So in that sense, you know, people wanted to have footy running in the area and were pretty happy to help me out.
Now all of a sudden they've put down their weapons and taken on football. And it's because the persistent of the AFL working closely with the councils and the people.
Yeah, there was a league that was still played out here. The same thing. We had the 6 sides that had previously played, but there wasn't a lot of structure to it. Like they'd turn up on the weekend, and whoever got there first would just play each other, and so there was no consistency through a fixture or anything like that. So that was sort of the first thing I tackled, and despite them not overly liking it for a start, we started to get a little bit more structure in it, and we've sort of moved forward from there.
We've set up sort of like 4, 5, 6 local team from Wadeye itself and Palampa. Another nearby community is Pepeminati.
But since the footy came alive to our people here, nothing more like it before. Never happened that before. But the footy ground now makes the life of our young people's growth now coming up, who they are.
They love their football, they love their culture, they know who they are. At the end of the day, they'll take anything on board now because the success is there.
Lots of young kids, young men was fighting together and put myself into sport, try to help all these young men to play footy.
Working with the people, the men, and the school as well to get their minds off what they're doing, to change their attitude and their life.
I learned umpire, learned from TR Stadium first. I done umpire there for under 15 and I went Victoria, learned from there real umpiring from AFL umpire.
Well, you know, there's a big buzz in the community, and then you'll see all the people. They never ride down in cars, they all walk. And you'll see them all walking down with their streamers and their club colours and all that. And yeah, it's good feeling to be down there and watching them, how the way they barrack and the way they get all excited over, and now they got the new oval, the new goal post, and they've got another one here now. It's all happening, eh?
Initially, when we sort of started looking at the Wadeye Footy Club and enhancing the program out here, it was basically to, I suppose, give people a chance of doing something they're good at. There's not a great deal out here that people, you know, get praised for or you know, seem to be good at, but footy is probably now one of the things that they're doing really well, and to their credit, they're basically standing up and doing really well. So I think it's great to see these guys in a positive spotlight and let them showcase their skills.
And then football came along. They said, "Hey, we can do all this," you know, and it really, I think, opened their eyes and said, you know, we can do like someone else can.
We started off this team about 2 years ago, talking about how can we get a team playing in NTFL.
Made a one team from different area, from different places like that, and from bottom camp, top camp, creek camp, yeah.
The issue was the best player in Wadeye was still in Wadeye. We needed to get guys out of the area to see, you know, how other people play and how better competitions are ran, I suppose, and so bring that knowledge back. So that was the idea behind it.
Tell all the boys to, we are made a one team for Wadeye Magic to go town.
They've done really well. They've got their junior and senior league competitions going, their game development game programs going, and therefore we rewarded them with a Wadeye Magic coming in for an 11-week trial this year into the NTFL.
Wadeye Magic was formed when they flew over to Darwin and said, well, the eldest is there behind you. You go and have a go at it.
Really important today, we keep the intensity up for the whole game, all right? Last week we dropped off, you know, we've got the opportunity now, we've played the top sides, we're playing a few of the lesser sides. Can we maintain the level we've been at? Can we play good footy? All right, so we need to make sure, don't go back to the old habits of kicking talks and being lazy, all right? Let's keep doing the things that made us good against good sides. We just learned from what they did then. They kicked the ball a lot and we managed to chop it off. So if you see a Wanderers guy cutting short, you know, carry it that bit further and kick it longer, or look for a shorter option and make sure of your kicks, okay?
And when we had the good news, here the cheering was. And I would hug my grandkid to say, good on you grandkids, you are there with your skill and with your support.
Yes, they were bad, but now they're playing football. They can see another side of football. Why smoke, why drink, when I can be this on the field?
They were totally disengaged in that sense, that they weren't doing anything in the community. They probably sat at home and smoked ganja most days. And yeah, we've got them now going to job training every day.
Misbehaving before, but when this Wadeye Magic football team started, it was really good to see them coming to school every day and participate in land and conservation management, and they enjoy themselves.
Just playing football has motivated the whole community. And well, look at the success they're having. And it can only get better as we go along, you know, go better and better.
There's probably 40 to 50 guys turning up and wanting to be a part of it every week. So, you know, we've given, I think this week we're up to 39 different players have played for the Magic. So that's, you know, a pretty good spread. If we can, over the 10 games, get to, I think 50 was our aim. If we can do that, we'll be really pleased. So, you know, we've just got to keep giving guys opportunities, and opportunity comes through doing the right thing.
But it's just a team of happy group of young people doing something and strengthening their part.
These are the boys that used to be in trouble all the time, get caught with the police. And these are the young men playing today. We're fighting amongst each other.
From the word go, we set the club up to say, if you're going to be involved in the footy club, you've got to be either working, going to school, or involved in employment training. And on top of that, you've got to get a health check from the health services, as well as staying out of trouble with the police. So that was basically what we stipulated to the players. And on top of that as well, they've got to make their training sessions. So if they don't do that, they miss out.
It feels great, and makes it a leader for footy, leadership and leadership for community.
Well, AFL has become a more or less like a ceremonial thing to these people now. Like you got our culture, then you got the AFL culture, and at the moment they're together. You know, I'm really strong, and I can see that happening in the community. You know, like you got the gym. They know how to go to the gym now and do things like real AFL players do. I think a lot of people now are pinching themselves and saying, is it really happening to us? This community who no one wanted to visit and say nice things about is right up there with any of them, you know?
Everyone's already talking about playing Premier League and wanting to do that. So there's an understanding that if that happens, the guys have got to improve a lot. And there's a lot of areas, you know, on and off the field we've got to work on.
We want to make sure football's part of the community out there for a long time. It's got a very, very special place in the community, football. Most of the community members want to play the game, manage the game, coach the game, so it's very important that we continue that on and keep that as a real part of the fabric of Wadeye community.
Wadeye at the moment, because of the team's success on the field, is really bringing people together, you know, and the people walk around like, I've never seen so many people, even women, wearing the Guernseys, you know, the Wadeye Magic.
Yeah, look, I hope they continue to get stronger. I think the Magic would be disappointing to see that sort of fade away, but I think there's enough people pushing it and the community really want it. So I think, you know, we'll continue to see footy sort of being I suppose, a stepping stone for guys in this community to move forward. So I think we've got to enhance that and just keep building the program out here.
Everyone's really proud of our football team. It's a new team, but I hope it will stay alive for everyone.
It's there within them, but they will prove themselves somewhere.
Me and myself and my brothers, and we're just proud. Especially my mom and dad, my sister, and my cousin. They're all proud.
We are all behind them when either they go to Darwin or wherever. Melbourne was sitting down south, but they know because the true word is there within them. Wadeye Magic and the Warriors. We are the warriors of Wadeye.